Donald Trump is making headlines once again. This time, he's shaking up global trade by slapping new tariffs on products from countries like China, Mexico, Canada, and even parts of Europe. These tariffs are the boldest move in decades. But are they a smart strategy to protect American jobs and industries, or simply a reckless, damaging gamble? Today, we're breaking it down to answer, is Trump stupid or a genius? First, let's explain what a tariff is. A tariff is a tax on goods imported from other countries. Imagine you buy a toy that's made abroad. If there's a tariff, extra money is added to the price. That extra cost often gets passed on to you. Tariffs are supposed to protect domestic industries by making foreign goods more expensive compared to products made in America. For example, if cars from another country cost $20,000 and a 25% tariff is imposed, the price can jump to $25,000 or more. This is meant to help American factories compete, but it can also lead to higher prices for everyone. Now, here's what Trump has done. On what he calls Liberation Day, he announced a 10% baseline tariff on nearly all imported goods coming into the United States. On top of that, he's adding extra reciprocal tariffs on 57 specific countries. This means some countries could see rates as high as 20% or even 34%. Trump claims these tariffs are designed to fix unfair trade practices and reduce America's huge trade deficits. He argues that by making imported goods more expensive, American buyers will choose U.S.-made products, helping domestic companies and workers. He also says these tariffs are a way to force other nations to play by fair rules. Critics, however, have a very different view. Many economists argue that these tariffs will hurt the American economy in several ways. Studies suggest that the average American household might end up paying hundreds of extra dollars every year. For example, one study even estimated an extra $830 a year per household. That means items like electronics, cars, and even groceries could cost more. When the U.S. imposes tariffs, other countries often respond in kind. We've already seen retaliatory measures. China, for example, has started charging extra on American goods. Such back and forth can escalate into a full-blown trade war that disrupts global supply chains and harms industries across the board. Investors don't like uncertainty. Since Trump's tariffs have been announced with changing rates and unclear long-term plans, stock markets have reacted sharply. Global stock indices have dropped, and many experts worry that these moves could push the U.S. economy toward a recession. On the other side, supporters believe Trump's tariffs could be a masterstroke, a bold strategy that forces other countries to change unfair trade practices. Here's why some people think he's a genius. By raising tariffs dramatically, Trump is putting other countries on the defensive. His idea is that when foreign goods become too expensive, other nations will come to the negotiating table to lower their own tariffs or change trade rules. This could lead to new, fairer trade agreements in the long run. Many American workers and factories have suffered from years of cheap imports. With tariffs, there's hope that domestic companies will see a boost, leading to more jobs and better wages. Industries like steel and aluminum, which are crucial for manufacturing and national security, might benefit from this protection. Supporters say Trump is using tariffs not just as a tax, but as a tool for national strategy. Just like in a game of chess, making a bold move now could set up the U.S. for long-term advantages. It's a way of saying, we won't be taken advantage of anymore. The effects of these tariffs aren't limited to the United States. Around the world, countries are reacting. Chinese authorities have imposed their own tariffs on American goods and have even launched investigations into some U.S. companies. While some analysts say China's actions are modest compared to the U.S. measures, they still add to the uncertainty in global trade. Canada and Mexico have responded by threatening or enacting their own tariffs on U.S. exports. In some cases, they've delayed their actions to negotiate and protect their economies. For example, Leaders in both countries have negotiated a one-month delay to try to work out a deal. But even with negotiations, the trade war is already disrupting supply chains and shaking up industries, especially in sectors like automotive manufacturing. The announcement of these tariffs has caused major stock market swings. Global indices have dropped significantly as investors worry about rising costs, disrupted supply chains, and the potential for a global economic slowdown. Uncertainty is high, and many business leaders are holding off on investments until they know more. These reactions show that Trump's tariffs have wide-reaching consequences that go well beyond trade statistics. They affect everyday business and consumer confidence around the globe. So, is Trump simply being reckless and stupid, or is there a method to his madness? The truth is, it might be both. In the short term, these tariffs could hurt consumers with higher prices and unsettle global markets. But if they force other nations to change unfair trade practices and lead to better deals for America, then there might be a long-term benefit. It all depends on how the negotiations go and whether the increased costs can be offset by gains in domestic production and job creation. This strategy is risky, and its success is far from guaranteed. It could lead to a stronger economy if it forces real change, or it could backfire and trigger a recession. Trump's tariffs are one of the most controversial moves in recent U.S. history. They're designed to force other countries to negotiate fairer trade, but they also risk higher prices and economic uncertainty right here at home. What do you think? Is Trump playing a brilliant long-term strategy, or is he setting the stage for economic disaster? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's get the discussion going. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next deep dive.